All right, greetings. Greetings, dear Capricorn, that's you. This is Tarot Lumination, and it is your May 2019 Love and Relationship Generic Report. You know what to do. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, especially if they're all different, and then reinterpret to suit yourself. Create your own storyline, all right? I do what I can to help from here. Also, if you need to, cross-watch for significant others. Also for singles, if you really want to, you can watch this too, but you have to really allow for the laws of attraction. We're using the Tarot Lumination Crucible spread on the understanding that there's you, there's a significant other, and there's a third entity, the relationship itself. And when you are transmitting and receiving energy, that includes the frequencies of relationship to some degree. So what is the potential that you are attracting back to you? The universe is like a mirror. So the cards are well shuffled in advance, but I'd like to go to the last second so that you're a witness. We've got no jumpers and no flyers here. We will have an oracle later on, okay, Capricorn? I shared that with the rest of the reports, so you're getting it too. Before we get into the cards themselves, I just want to give you some notes for the month in general. This is just generic stuff. It's mostly information, and then I try to focus it down a little bit for you guys. You'll see in a moment. Here we go. For May 2019, all month long, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto are retrograde. What about your fortune, your karma, your deep soul? Time to re-examine all of that. Months of it. Months and months of it. You know, Mercury retrograde is like 3 weeks. This is months and months. Deep, deep, deep wave patterns. Okay. May 4th, Taurus new moon. All month long, Mercury is zooming. It goes through Aries, then Taurus, then Gemini. May 15th, Venus moves from Aries to Taurus. Mars moves through from Gemini to Cancer, roughly there. May the 18th, we have the full moon, the Taurus sun opposed by the Scorpio moon. May 21st, the sun moves into Gemini. All month long, that really heavy pressure is from Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, flipping retrograde and in there for around 22 degrees. It's like they're stuck, sitting there right on your shoulder. The reality check police, the control police, okay? So this is a Tarot Lumination Astrodoodle. If you haven't seen one of these before, this is what it's like here. And this is like a weird snapshot in Tarot Lumination style for the month. Here's you on the horizon, okay, Capricorn? So this is like it's your own personal chart if you want. This is the Pluto-Saturn heavy-duty influence here. It's retrograde. It's sitting right on top of you. This is there's a little kind of an interesting, awkward pressure moment here as Mars, late in the month, Mars drifts into Cancer, your opposing sign, so you might feel some, let's say, activity or pressure or maybe conflict or hostilities or ambition or passion, anything that's fired up by Mars. Also around May the 9th, you might feel a sense of culmination or pressure or fear or doubt as the moon transits through Cancer, your opposite sign. Now the sweet spot is that we have the new moon here, okay, in Taurus, in your 5th house of love and true love, okay? Creative self-expression, fun, happiness, romance. And it culminates over here on the 18th, okay? The sun in Taurus opposed by the Scorpio moon. But all of that's generally harmonious for you, okay? So I'm not going to stress too much. This is happening here along your relationship axis, but again, I'm not going to stress too much because the whole thing is dominated by the red blob, okay? Everything else is secondary to that. You might not notice it or feel it too much because it's so big and so deep. Most of the things that we feel in our day-to-day life are to do with the personal planets that we can see. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn up to some extent. Most people tap out around Venus and Mars. Yeah? So that's how conscious we are. Let's get into it, all right, people? You'll see in a moment. Please invite your invisible friends. Okay, that's what we do here. They love to be invited. It really helps to enrich the reading for you. Cross-watch for significant others if you have to. And retell the whole thing, you know, to suit yourself. It's your reading, okay? This is my gift to you. All right, thank you, Capricorn. I know with that Pluto-Saturn thing going on, you must, without any doubt, be going through some huge, very long-term, slow, and perhaps very challenging transformations, irreversible. Only you would know what they actually mean for you personally. So it's basically about your whole identity, your whole sense of self, because it's in the first house of you. Anyway, here we go. This is a relationship reading, and it's all about you. It's not a couples reading, okay? It's all about you, but we're going to allow for the co-star. Over here, what are you transmitting, radiating, transceiving like a pulsar? Here, okay? Over here, what about them? Deep inside of you, deep inside of the other, and the core, the relationship itself. Can you see the crucible here? It's like a bowl. This is a bowl structure. And a crucible is a structure that's designed to withstand intense alchemical reactions in a laboratory, which is very similar with what happens in human relationships as we intimate, as we separate, as we always do, all day, every day, just like the ocean waves. Okay? So what is fermenting here? What's frothing? What's growing? What is blossoming? What is withering? Okay, let's have a look at circumstantial energy, environmental influences, that stuff out there. You could blame it on the planets, family, home, whatever it is. And you've got justice. So my feeling right now is that this is a very somber, sobering energy, literally like the forces of nature, the forces of law, the laws of nature, the laws of universe are making themselves very clear, evident, and known. I think this relates to the Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter thing, and it's sitting right on top of you. In other words, justice is being served for better or worse. In other words, there's a big, huge time of reckoning that we're starting here in May, very deep, slow reckoning, and you are getting your reckoning right now for you personally. It's almost like you're getting a review or an appraisal by the universe, and it's affecting everything in your life, including love and relationship. So this is out there. In other words, whatever is happening is happening. In other words, everything is exactly as it should be in your life and your world, for better or worse. And why is that? It's because it can't be any other way. That's just how it is. Things are the way they are. This is Tarot Lumination. This is a crucible spread. These are two little hearts. You are a viewer. Tarot Lumination is a provider. There we go. Those are facts. So what is happening is what is happening. Okay? It might seem fair. It might seem unjust. That's not the issue. It's just this is what is, and it's very important to understand and accept that. I'm going to put those aside for a moment. We'll come back. Over here, what are you radiating yourself? Okay, King of Pentacles. To me, this is an awesome energy, and it's almost about, like, I'm saying, let's just say you're a high-frequency Capricorn, and you've already done huge amounts of work on yourself, because you must have done for the last, gosh, how many years is it now with Pluto in Capricorn? We've still got another 4. We've been going since about 2008. I don't know if you can think back that far. If you're a young viewer, I don't know. If you're older, maybe so. Maybe you might have a real click moment back when Pluto entered Capricorn. Wall Street collapsed. The American economy imploded. It sent shockwaves all over the planet. We're heading up to something similar in January 2020. But since that time, you have been relentlessly doing the work, investing in yourself to make the most of the opportunities. Like you Capricorn in general are very good at the tangible realities of life and optimizing them, managing them. That's why Capricorns tend to take on positions of responsibility that no one else wants to do. It's because that's your natural element. And so when you do that to yourself, when you treat yourself as an enterprise that needs continuous maintenance, upgrades, and ongoing management, just like running a corporation, just like running a business, it's 24/7. It always needs work, and I think that's what you've been doing. No matter how tough it is, you know what's that saying? When the going gets tough, the tough get going. You're really good at that, Capricorn, and I think you're radiating this. Like, number one, you've done the work already. Number two, you're continuing to do the work ever more because you're probably aware that you're under a lot of pressure right now. It's really increasing, so you are being called to task. Actually, just stay there. I want to give you something. Actually, I can't really show you now. Excuse me. Hold on. Let me show you. Okay. I'm going to twiddle this chart over here for just a moment. Everything that I just talked about was to do with you, the person over here. the deep soul transformations that have been going on for the last almost 10 years, and we've got another, what, 3 or 4 to go at least. Saturn is going to hit you January 2020. So please see the next 5 months or so is a time to prepare for January 2020. All right. I wrote a book about it. Okay. Anyway, you can see that at the website. But for now, today, here for May, my feeling is that you're going to enjoy the benefits of having done all the work and endured all the pressure so far. And you're going to have to endure more. So you're going to have to keep wearing your CEO leadership, master of enterprise, master of self, wardrobe, crown, everything. It's very noble, but also it's a very heavy crown. A lot of people don't actually want, they might think they want this. What they actually want are the benefits of being all of this, but they don't want to actually do the work or have the responsibilities or commitments or obligations or heaviness that goes with wearing the crown, okay? But you, Capricorn, are doing it because you can. Over here, let's have a look. Now, does that talk about much to do with love and relationship? Not specifically, because I think that'll come more as a reflection. Okay, let's have a look from them. Four of Swords. So with you, Capricorn, radiating this energy, my feeling is that it's almost like you're providing a place of refuge and respite and sanctuary for a significant other to lean on you while they go through their own journey. Because in some ways it looks like they've endured battles, their own battles, just like you have. And how it's affected them is in a very, very different way. And they need peace. They need healing. They need a deep, deep soul healing. And that's what they're doing right now. And they might appear very introverted or closed or shut off or in meditative kind of states where, you know, they might be going through the day-to-day motions of life and activity and relationship dynamics. But that's more to do with just, you know, getting along with day-to-day life, because I think at the soul level here, they've checked out because they don't know what else to do. And they need, it's not like it's really personal, but it's just not like it's not like, I don't think that they're checking out from you. I think that they're checking out because their own experience has been, there's been so much pressure on them that they don't know what else to do right now except seek solace and deep soul healing. So they're doing that in their own way, and they are receiving it as well, okay? They are literally putting themselves in a position where they are laying down all arms and deliberately choosing to receive the healing power of love from up above into their body, mind, heart, and soul, into their whole life, their whole world. So it's like, to me, it's like it's nothing personal. Everything is exactly as it should be. You're on your journey. They're on their journey. But you, at the deep soul and the day-to-day level, everything might be just ticking along. You know how businesses operate. Like if you go into like a, I don't know, fast food place, big chain, everything happens on automatic. Everybody's just doing what they do. But when you go to Wall Street and you look at the charts, sometimes it goes up and down, and you don't know what's happening because of the rest of the economy. So everything is ticking along, but deep, deep at the soul levels, there's integration going on over here as they try to live their life. And there's no interference or insinuation that there's anything wrong, okay? It's just a chapter, okay? Deep inside of you, the world, okay? So to me, it might feel as though, like for yourself personally, you have reached, or you are reaching, or you're still in the process of reaching a plateau in yourself, in the way that you're looking at the world around you and the way the world perceives you. I'm going to go back to this chart again, and I think you're going to feel that around May the 9th, when you get a reflection from the Cancer moon. It doesn't matter who the other person is, okay, over here. I'm just talking about the transits in general as you go through May. Around the time of May 9th, you might get an awareness of like, what's actually happening in my love life, in my relationships. because the Cancer moon will express the shadow side and everything that's scary and fearful and emotionally sensitive about it, and that would relate and calibrate with anything and everything that's not working. So I think you might get that feeling at that point in time where you get a full on, like full length mirror reflection of you back to yourself about how you've done so well to reach a point of plateau, of culmination, to be who you are, where you are. This is almost like your own private miniature full moon. It's not really a full moon, but I'm just saying it's an opposition. When the moon is opposing you, please pay attention there. Okay. And also, when we come to the full moon, like when you start the month on the 4th, that will be sweet, brand new, yummy energy for love and relationship. When you come to the 18th, it will be a culmination where what you experienced here on the 9th will make more sense. Okay. You're like, now I get it. What's happening in my love life? Deep inside, you're thinking like, I've done everything I can to be here, who I am, as myself, as an individual in the context of love and relationship. I'm not saying I don't know what's happening with you, but I accept and allow that you are on your journey. And if it's how you need to be, if you need to be in deep soul meditative state, that's fine. I will continue and I will recalibrate and start from scratch here anyway. It's like, it's no matter. I'm used to this. I can handle it. I'm just doing what I have to do to be the Capricorn that I am. I'm not going to add words like I love you or like I sort of love you or I'm not sure if I love you anymore. I'm not going to do that because it's almost like that's not relevant right now. I know it sounds not very romantic, but I have to read the story out as I feel it. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job. Okay? Let me have a look back over here. What's happening deep inside of them? Okay? Temperance. Okay, so there's a very strong emphasis on healing. In other words, that there's this deep, deep yearning inside to bring harmony and balance into themselves for the significant other, which is basically a calling out, like raising the hand, like, dear heaven, dear angels, dear guardians, I need help, I need healing, not just day-to-day stuff like, my sinuses or my aching feet or my carpal tunnel or my continuous migraines or whatever it is that needs healing. I need deep soul healing. I need deep, deep soul healing. And if this is appearing in the context of a love and relationship reading, even though it's not their reading, it's relevant to them because they are in some kind of relationship dynamic with you. And if there's a part of them that feels like there's something seriously out of whack with the relationship that needs deep, deep soul healing, then they're trying to figure that out internally. Okay. So this with the major arcana card here and the major over here, to me, it feels like, again, some of this is kind of out of your control, Capricorn. In other words, like what's happening in your day-to-day life up here at this level of existence, okay, in the three-dimensional world, like, hey, honey, how are you doing? It looks like you had a rough day. Are you okay? Can I get you anything? Do you need, like a foot rub, or can I go to the drugstore and pick up your prescriptions? And they're like, oh, you're resting, you're asleep. Okay. Sorry, what was that? What did you say? Oh, I was just checking in. How are you doing? I don't know. I'm still checked out. Can we talk about this later? Okay, don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything. You do what you have to do. But there's no like discussion of like, hey, what's happening deep at the soul level? I don't know, but I know I need deep soul healing. What I'm sensing is that that conversation is not active. What you're doing is living up at this level, and at the deep soul level, there are some very subliminal, but very fated kind of energies that are going through, over which it might feel like for the both of you, like they don't have any control over it. You don't have any control over it, but that's how things work. Justice is being served. The way you've conducted your life, the way they've conducted their life, the way you have conducted your lives together in a relationship is often done on the physical plane in the world of Capricorn. Tangible stuff like houses, cars, jobs, money, activity, doing this, having that, getting that, taking care of business. And sometimes we get, you know, it's almost like this stuff disappears. Like, what is that? It doesn't even exist anymore for some people, but it's there. Okay, it's there, but it's happening at a very deep subliminal level. And I think this is very much to do with the big, heavy retrogrades. And it's very hard to find language for that stuff. We can talk about it if you want to. Like if with Mercury retrograde, it's pretty obvious. Even I think the New York Times acknowledged now that astrology is becoming more accepted on a collective level, and they actually apparently had an article about Mercury retrograde. Can you imagine that? And the classic symptoms. Now imagine Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto retrograde, much deeper, heavier retrogrades. Very little study has been on that level compared to Mercury, but it is evidence. There's studies out there, but it's not fully understood at the collective levels. So what I think is happening here and here with both of you is very much to do with what's happening with Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter over here, all retrograde. And for you, that actually, you know what? I should circle that in red. I don't have my marker, but for you, Capricorn, Jupiter's retrograde in Sagittarius. Okay, so that represents the place of self-undoing, place of imprisonment, the place of hidden enemies, the place where like the potential for universal divine love lies, but it's only possible when we remove the obstacles, when we do the cleanups, the self-cleanup, and it's very hard to figure that out as it is, let alone with Jupiter retrograde there. It's great when it's moving, but it's not so easy when it's retrograde. Same thing here with the retrogrades. This energy here is saying, hold on a minute, Capricorn. There's stuff that needs to be taken care of at the deep soul level. So let's do that. And so that's what's happening here. And exactly the same thing is happening to a significant other on their chart. So this is happening at deep soul levels, okay? For you and the relationship and the other. I see it blessed, though, because of the Taurus energy is very harmonious for you. So I think this gives you a chance to carry that much weight without being too much of a burden, okay? Let's have a look at the core. Okay, the Princess of Cups. Okay, this is very, very sweet, sweet energy in that the relationship itself is like radiating the energy of a very pure love with a very pure, loving intention that no matter how tough it is, the only intention here is to love and to be loved, to be loving, to be loved. In other words, they are going through whatever they feel and deep down know they have to do to seek their own healing, their own justice, their own repairs and reconfigurations, reevaluations, reexaminations at the deep soul level. And you're doing exactly the same thing over here. And so the way I look at it as your reader is that that is a very loving intention. In other words, both parties are leaning on the relationship itself in that a relationship, like you've done a really good job, Capricorn, to create a relationship environment that can withstand this kind of pressure. Like when you get into these kind of situations, a lot of relationships would crumble. But it looks like you're doing a really good job going from one incarnation of love and relationship and identity and moving into a new one. It's happening gently and slowly, and we're getting through the moments starting here in May, okay? So the intention is like the relationship is radiating the love, the energy of all I want is to love and be loved. I want the relationship to symbolize and carry all the classic hallmarks of being loving and being loved, which basically comes down to kindness, respect, consideration, patience, being there for the other, asking the questions of the other, like, how can I help you? And they're asking, like, how can I help you in return when I come around and come back out of this? Like, I don't know how to thank you, but I'm glad you're there kind of energy. So that's loving. That's the energy of offering love and then receiving love. And the relationship is radiating that energy. So I think that is very sweet. Over here, what is blossoming? See, 10 of Cups. It's almost like this is a pathway to happiness. Somehow, Capricorn, you must have learned some very deep, profound secrets to life on how to build wealth and happiness, to have this King of Pentacles here and this 10 of Cups over here. and to be able to carry a relationship dynamic where you might be relating with someone who is suffering very, very deeply, and they know it, and they're leaning on you and the relationship in order to heal. That's what I'm sensing here. And that constitutes love in itself, which generates into an ongoing blossoming. It's almost like this, the Ten of Cups here, this beautiful card of love in the home, love in the family, is the outcome of your ability to manifest in this world on a three-dimensional plane what is often only discovered or known or experienced in 5D, 7D, above and beyond in spirit, before incarnation in this life and after this life. Because this physical life can be very, very brutal and tough on a lot of people. But you seem to be finding a way to take all the obstacles and turn them into like an alchemical reaction. That this is like turning, you know, what is it like? I think of it as turning. There's no cards to indicate it, but it's turning things into gold. Okay, so this is very much to me looks like a very healing relationship, and it is chosen and it's deliberate, and it's highly, highly appreciated by the significant other, and you get to enjoy the benefits accordingly. In other words, you're doing the work, you're making the investments, you're taking on all the commitments, obligations, responsibilities, duties, challenges, and patience that's required, and leadership that's required to maintain something like this. And in so doing, you enjoy the benefits. Something beautiful like this. Justice served. Okay? I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to pull one little oracle card for you. I'm not going to read from the book, but I'm going to pull the card anyway. Let's give ourselves a little bit of room here. It didn't sound like a very romantic reading, but I think it's a very loving reading. Okay, Capricorn? I'm just going to tuck this over so we have a little bit of room. And this is the Romance Angels deck. And it's just going to be one card. And I'm not going to read from the book. I'm just going to show you the images and give my own feedback and comments and the pertinence to this reading itself. Okay? And then you can reinterpret how you want, which of course is your right, and I would highly encourage that. Right? Now, cards again are already well shuffled in advance, but I go to the last second so that you're a witness. I'm going to cut it all up. Again, invite your invisible friends. Take full advantage of this, and we'll make the most of it. All right? Here we go. That was a pretty extreme cut. Let's see what happens. We have here deception. Okay, be very careful. Okay, someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. Okay, so this would probably be very, very subtle, very, very deep down. I don't take this as a what's the word I'm looking for? As a what's you know how you have tumors? Can't think of the cancer energy. I'm going to go back to this in a moment. Over here. So when coming around May 9th and towards the end of the month, when you get fuller understanding what we're talking about here on the reading, and this storyline makes more and more sense, what I'm feeling is that what will happen is that you will discover things about yourself that you didn't know before. And the deception is not about who's deceiving the other. Are you deceiving them? Are they deceiving you? What's the deception going on in the relationship? I think it's much more to do with this phrase here. Someone is wearing a false self-mask in this relationship. And I don't think it's deliberate or malicious. I think it's to do with the discovery of the self that is becoming known to you about yourself in the context of the relationship, thanks to these heavy retrogrades out here. In other words, very gently and in a loving environment, you're becoming made more and more aware of how you deceive yourself, how you undermine yourself, the energy of self-sabotage, and how you as an individual put on, let's say, your day-to-day mask in order to survive and get along, but you need to discover, and it's time to know now, and it's happening here and now, to discover the layers that until this point in your life were hidden. Okay? So it's like a very gentle, let's pull up the mask here, Capricorn. Let's go deeper, but that's probably going to happen more like in, I think, January 2020. Okay? I don't think there's any falsehood or malice going on here. Okay? I think this is very much to do with the self. Okay? But again, in much to do with a learning type of thing. All right? Thank you so much, Capricorn. All the best. I know you can handle it. I know you'll make the best of this. Thank you for the subscribes, the likes, the comments, membership especially. Check out the links below. Take care. See you next month. Bye-bye.